Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am VC Pramod and with me is RS Raghu with the evening news. The headlines. Centre taking concrete steps to contain spread of rising COVID-19 cases in the national capital, says Home Ministry. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.52%. President Ramnath Kovind calls for premier universities to be at the forefront to promote innovation. 4-day-long Chhath Puja begins in different parts of the country with traditional fervour. Former Goa governor and veteran BJP leader Mridula Sinha passes away. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with the message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing. Focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news. The central government is taking concrete steps to contain the spread of rising COVID-19 cases in Delhi on the direction of the Home Minister Amit Shah. The Ministry of Home Affairs today said that 10 multidisciplinary teams have started visiting hospitals in the national capital for assessing bed utilization and testing capacities. It also informed that planning for house-to-house survey in Delhi in the advanced stage and survey is expected to begin by this weekend and is projected to be completed by 25th of this month. It said Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR and Delhi government are working together to enhance RT-PCR testing capacity to 60,000 tests by the end of this month. The ministry informed that testing capacity has already been enhanced by 10,000 tests per day. 5 RT-PCR labs, including at AIIMS in Delhi, have already started functioning round the clock. It said ICMR will help the Delhi government in deploying 10 mobile testing labs for COVID-19 with a total capacity of 20,000 tests in a phased manner. ICMR will also help in augmenting capacity by 2,000 tests of existing Delhi labs by deploying more manpower and equipment through engagement with private sector labs. The ministry said Defence Research and Development Organization DRDO will add more ICU beds in its COVID hospitals near the Delhi airport. It said DRDO will add 250 ICU beds to its already existing 250 ICU beds and also create 35 BiPAP beds in the next 3 to 4 days. It said that 45 doctors and 160 paramedics from Central Armed Police Force CAPF have reached Delhi for deployment at DRDO Hospital and at COVID Care Centre situated at Chhatarpur.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to around 93.52%. During the last 24 hours, more than 44,000 people recovered from COVID-19. The Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 83,35,000. The actual caseload currently comprises only 5.01% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is around 4,46,000. During the past 24 hours, 38,617 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to over 89 lakh. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.47%, which is one of the lowest globally. During the last 24 hours, 474 deaths were reported, taking the toll to 1,30,993. In Maharashtra, the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation BMC has begun week-long targeted COVID-19 testing of hawkers, shop owners, helpers and transporters in crowded markets, BEST and State Road Transport Corporation drivers to tap possible super spreaders. With Diwali festivities over, the civic body expects a swell in cases fueled by crowded shopping areas and public transport systems. For more details, let us listen to this report.
With various mathematical prediction models and experts indicating a possible second wave after Diwali, the BMC has begun its COVID-19 test drive for the possible super spreaders. Additional Municipal Commissioner Suresh Kakani informed that the city civic body had set up 10 free testing centers in each of the city's 24 civic wards. The BMC has also started shortlisting crowded markets and hawkers. According to Kakani, the few days of rivalry has witnessed intermingling of population with several events lowering their guard to wear masks and maintain physical distance. Hence, the hospitals began testing since Monday. However, the positivity rate is low. Besides, in the coming days, the BMC plans to intensify testing of police personnel and other frontline workers. All catering staff, security guards and health workers of all medical facilities will also be tested. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Manipur, 6 persons lost their lives due to COVID-19 in the past 24 hours, taking the total fatality in the state to 231. On the other hand, 110 persons, including 3 personnel from the Central Armed Police Force, tested positive for COVID-19 in the same period, bringing the total number of cases in the state so far to 22,318. 194 were discharged in the past 24 hours in the state, and the recovery rate is 86.29%. So far, Manipur has recorded total recovered cases of 19,259, while the number of active cases is 2,828. The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Professor of Medicine, Lady Hardinge Medical College, Dr. Madhur Yadav, will participate in the program. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by #AskAIR.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan today addressed the ministerial meeting of the Global Prevention Coalition GPC for HIV prevention through video conference. Speaking on India's unique HIV prevention model, Dr. Harshvardhan said the program is aimed at providing outreach, service delivery, counseling and testing, and ensuring linkages to HIV care. Indian model is centered around the concept of social contracting through which the Targeted Interventions TI program is implemented. He said India's model can be adopted and scaled up in many countries by tailoring the intervention as per local settings. He said it can also be replicated in other prevention and disease control programs. The Health Minister also elaborated how India protected the gains made in HIV prevention during the COVID-19 pandemic. He said the Government of India took swift and timely action by involving communities, civil society, development partners to reach out to the last mile with a robust implementation plan for antiretroviral drugs ARV dispensation. President Ramnath Kovind has said that premier universities like Jawaharlal Nehru University should be at the forefront to develop specific hand-holding mechanisms and promote innovation among student communities. Addressing the 4th annual convocation of Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, through a video message, Mr. Kovind said students coming from all parts of India and from all strata of society study in JNU in an atmosphere of equal opportunity for excellence. The President said JNU reflects all shades of Indian culture, and the names of buildings, hostels, roads and facilities on the campus are drawn from the Indian heritage. It represents a cultural and geographical picture of India at its best. Mr. Kovind said this Indianness is JNU's legacy and it should be strengthened.
This Indianness is your legacy and strengthening it is your duty. Related to this duty of the educated is a statement of Mahatma Gandhi, which I quote: all education in a country has got to be demonstrably in promotion of the progress of the country in which it is given, unquote. I urge upon all of you to always remember the debt we owe to our society and the nation. It is your sacred duty to repay this debt by reaching out to the people who are left behind in the country's journey for growth and development.
Referring to the glorious past of teaching and research in ancient India, the President said that in dealing with today's challenges, we can draw inspiration from universities in Takshashila, Nalanda, Vikramshila and Vallabhi, which had set high standards of teaching and research. He said scholars and students from all across the world came to those centers to attain specialized knowledge.
Today's Indian scholars should try to create such an original body of knowledge which is utilized for dealing with contemporary global challenges. JNU is among those select institutions of higher learning which can reach globally comparable excellence. All the students who have received their doctorate today must remember that scholars from JNU command very high regard in the global academic arena. They have been honored with prestigious prizes and honors. Their work is cited frequently by researchers and students all over the world. You have to build upon this rich legacy.
Speaking on the occasion, Education Minister Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said the role of a university is very important in the implementation of new education policy.
नई शिक्षा नीति के क्रियान्वयन में जेएनयू जैसे विश्वविद्यालय की भूमिका बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। मुझे खुशी है कि विश्वविद्यालय अनुसंधान की संस्कृति को बढ़ावा देते हुए एनआईआरएफ रैंकिंग में पिछले 5 वर्षों से काफी अच्छा प्रदर्शन करती आ रही है और इस वर्ष इस विश्वविद्यालय ने एनआईआरएफ रैंकिंग में दूसरा स्थान प्राप्त कर गौरव हासिल किया है। साथ ही विश्वविद्यालय ने 455 करोड़ के हिफा फंड के साथ रिसर्च सुविधाओं को बहुत तेजी से वृद्धि करने का प्रयास किया है।
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Centre taking concrete steps to contain spread of rising COVID-19 cases in national capital, says Home Ministry. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.52%. President Ramnath Kovind calls for premier universities to be at the forefront to promote innovation. 4-day-long Chhath Puja begins in different parts of the country with traditional fervour. Former Goa governor and veteran BJP leader Mridula Sinha passes away. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The 4-day-long celebrations of Chhath Puja began today in different parts of the country with traditional ritual of Nahaye Khaye. This festival is dedicated to the worship of the sun god and is a symbol of faith for crores of people across the world. During the festival, religious ceremonies and rituals are performed at the banks of rivers, ponds and other water bodies. On the first day today, after taking bath this morning, devotees consumed cooked food items like rice, chana dal and gourd as a part of the Nahaye Khaye ritual. Tomorrow, Kharna will be observed, which marks the beginning of the 36-hour-long fast followed by the devotees. This fast will end on Saturday morning with offerings of oblations to rising sun known as Pratah Arg. Devotees will offer their obeisance to the setting sun on Friday, which is known as the Sandhya Arg. This year, the festival is being observed amid COVID-19 pandemic. In Bihar, Chhath Puja has been prohibited on the ghats to avoid huge crowds on the banks of major rivers across the state. Our correspondent has the details.
Devotees have been advised to follow protocols regarding COVID-19 pandemic. Special Chhath festival guidelines have been issued. The state government has appealed people to observe the festival in their home as mass gathering may aggravate the pandemic. Use of face mask and observance of social distance is mandatory. Mass gathering on the banks of all rivers in the state, including Ganga, Gandak and Kosi, has been prohibited. Devotees have been advised to perform the Chhath Puja at small ponds and other water bodies, taking proper precautionary measures. The Chhath Ghats will be sanitized as per COVID-19 guidelines by civic authorities. Organizing Chhath Mela, Jagran and other cultural programs banned in the state. Kids up to age of 10 years and people above 60 years old will not be allowed to visit Chhath Ghats. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
In Uttar Pradesh, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has urged people to celebrate the festival from the confines of their homes in view of the coronavirus pandemic. More from our correspondent.
In a tweet, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the Chhath Puja is the mega festival of faith and a symbol of respect towards nature. He said that the coronavirus has weakened, but it has not been eliminated completely. Prevention is the best way. Try to celebrate Chhath at your house itself as you have done in the previous festivals. Meanwhile, devotees in the state and especially in eastern parts started the first fast of 4 days long Chhath Vrat this evening with the ritual of Nahai Khai. In this ritual, devotees eat the vegetable bottle gourd or pumpkin with steamed rice to start one of the toughest fasts on earth. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Maharashtra, with the aim to prevent the spread of coronavirus infection, Mumbai's civic body has said that it will not allow Chhath Puja at beaches and riverbanks. Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Narendra Pradhan has said that mining is one of the key sectors where a large number of policy reforms have been undertaken in the last 6 years. Speaking at the National Mining Summit today, the minister said Prime Minister Narendra Modi has envisioned that all natural resources should be properly assessed and their monetization must be done through the transparent bidding process. He said the international investors will invest only if they see certainty and profitability in the venture.
More than 25 lakh applications have been received under the Pradhan Mantri Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi scheme. This special microcredit facility has provided 5.35 lakh loans. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs said that more than 6.5 lakh applications have been received in Uttar Pradesh and 1.87 lakh loans have been dispersed so far. The scheme provides loan facility to vendors who had left for their native places due to COVID-19 lockdown. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that Constitution binds the country in one thread and it is our tradition and cultural heritage. He said Constitution of the country is for the people, by the people and for the people of India. Launching the Constitution Youth Club activities today, the Defence Minister said the country is going to celebrate the 6th Constitution Day next week. He said the day expresses our faith and allegiance to the Constitution.
एक सप्ताह बाद हमारा देश 6वां संविधान दिवस मनाने जा रहा है और 2014 में देश सेवा का अवसर मिलने के साथ ही सरकार ने जो प्रमुख प्रयास किए थे संविधान दिवस का मनाया जाना भी उनमें से एक है। 2009 में ही हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने जब वह गुजरात के मुख्यमंत्री थे संविधान दिवस मनाना प्रारंभ कर दिया था और 2015 में डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर जी की 125वीं जयंती पर उन्होंने 26 नवंबर को एक राष्ट्रीय पर्व का रूप दिया।
The BJP has sought explanation from the Congress chief Sonia Gandhi and party leader Rahul Gandhi in connection with the names of their leaders emerging in the Augusta Westland VVIP chopper scam case. Briefing reporters in New Delhi today, BJP spokesperson Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore said both the leaders of the Congress should clarify their stand over the issue. He alleged that whenever the matter of scam comes in defense deal, the names of Congress comes to the fore.
अब जब भी कांग्रेस का नाम आता है और रक्षा के सौदे आते हैं, ये बहुत दुख की बात है। जिन लोगों को सत्ता की जिम्मेदारी दी जाती है, वो सेना को इक्विप करने की जगह जो डील करते हैं वो घोटालों के सोच विचार करके करते हैं। जहां जीप घोटाला, बोफोर्स घोटाला, टाटा ट्रक घोटाला, स्कॉर्पियन पनडुब्बी घोटाला से अब अगस्ता वेस्टलैंड घोटाला, ये सारे के सारे कांग्रेस के समय और सारे के सारे रक्षा मंत्रालय से संबंधित ये घोटाले। कांग्रेस पार्टी के जो वरिष्ठ लोग हैं, सोनिया गांधी जी, राहुल गांधी, इस घोटाले पे अपने बड़े नेताओं का नाम आने पर स्पष्टीकरण दें, लेकिन अभी तक चुप्पी और खामोशी ही मिली है वहां से।
Leader of opposition in the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly, Devendra Fadnavis, today said that the BJP will not allow any anti-nationalist efforts to restore Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. Interacting with media at the BJP office in Mumbai today, Mr. Fadnavis said that a group of unpatriotic people is hatching conspiracy to divide the country and Indian National Congress is part of that group. He alleged that People's Alliance for Gupta Declaration under the leadership of Farooq Abdullah is trying to restore Article 370 in J&K with the help of China. Coming down heavily on the Congress, Mr. Fadnavis said that BJP, along with all those who support welfare and unity of the nation, will work towards revealing all anti-national forces threatening national security. He also slammed Maha Vikas Aghadi government in Maharashtra, failing to win the confidence of the people of the state.
In Jammu and Kashmir, terrorists lobbed a grenade on security forces in Pulwama district this evening. Superintendent of Police Pulwama, Ashish Mishra, said that terrorists hurled the grenade on a joint team of police and CRPF in Kakapura town. However, the grenade missed the intended target and exploded on the road. In this incident, 12 civilians received splinter injuries. They were shifted to nearby hospital for treatment. All of them are said to be in a stable condition. The whole area has been cordoned off by the security forces to nab the attackers. Details are awaited. In yet another ceasefire violation, Pakistan troops initiated unprovoked firing along the line of control in Shahpur and Kirni sectors of Poonch district this evening. PRO Defence Colonel Davinder Anand said the vigilant Indian Army guarding the fence are retaliating befittingly. There are no reports of any loss of life or damage to property so far.
Former Governor of Goa and veteran BJP leader Mridula Sinha passed away in a hospital in Delhi today. She was 77. Born on November 27, 1942 at a village in Chhapra in Bihar, Mridula Sinha was also the first women governor of Goa. A renowned Hindi writer, Mridula Sinha also served as the head of the BJP's Women's Wing and chairperson of the Central Social Welfare Board in the Ministry of Human Resource Development. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed grief over the demise of the veteran leader. In a tweet, President Kovind said Mridula Sinha, who was an excellent writer and teacher, deeply understood the local traditions and cultural life of the country, especially Bihar. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said the veteran leader will be remembered for her efforts towards public service. Home Minister Amit Shah, in his condolence message, said that Mridula Sinha worked for the nation, society and organization throughout her life. In Assam, the draft electoral roll has been published in the state. Chief Electoral Officer Nitin Khade informed that there are over 2.24 lakh voters in the draft electoral roll. Mr. Khade said that 34% increase of electors have been registered since the publication of the last electoral roll. The CEO appealed to all eligible Indian citizens who will be attaining 18 years on the 1st of January next as qualifying date to apply for registration as voters till the 15th of next month.
In Madhya Pradesh, with the objective of promoting adventure and safe tourism for women, the first and unique adventurous motorcycle trip is starting in the state from tomorrow. 15 eminent women bikers from all over the country will visit various tourist spots of the state under this journey named Tigress on the Trail. We have a report.
Tigress on the Trail includes women bikers from Maharashtra, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Punjab, Bihar and Karnataka. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan will flag off this team of women bikers from Bhopal tomorrow. In this journey of 1500 kilometers, these bikers will travel to Madhai, Pech, Kana, Bandhavgarh, Panna and Khajuraho and finally return to Bhopal on 25th November. Principal Secretary of Tourism Department Shiv Shekhar Shukla informed that the purpose of this event is to convince all tourists that Madhya Pradesh is completely safe for tourists and especially for single women tourists. Meanwhile, for the first time, Tourism Cabinet has been formed to promote tourism in the state. The Chief Minister is the chairman of this cabinet, while 4 ministers have been inducted as members. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In order to provide complete range of healthcare services for people living in remote and inaccessible areas of Himachal Pradesh, the state government today flagged off medical mobile unit Jeevan Dhara from the ridge in Shimla. While flagging off this mobile health and wellness unit, Chief Minister Jairam Thakur said the van would function as a mobile primary health center. He said free medical consultancy and screening would be provided to the patients through Jeevan Dhara Mobile Health and Wellness Center. The Chief Minister also flagged off TB detection vans on the occasion. Today, 10 such mobile vans were pressed into service to provide free healthcare to the people.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate Bengaluru Tech Summit 2020 through video conferencing tomorrow. The theme of the summit is Next is Now. The The three-day summit will deliberate on the key challenges emerging in the post-pandemic world with focus on the impact of prominent technologies and innovations in the domains of information technology and electronics and biotechnology. It will see participation of Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, Vice President of the Swiss Confederation Guy Parmelin, and many other prominent international figures. Prime Minister Modi will also hold a virtual summit with his Luxembourg counterpart Xavier Bettel tomorrow. This will be the first standalone summit meeting between India and Luxembourg in the past 2 decades. The leaders will discuss the entire spectrum of bilateral relationship, including strengthening of India-Luxembourg cooperation in the post-COVID world.
India's artificial intelligence supercomputer Paramsiddhi has achieved 63rd rank among top 500 most powerful non-distributed computer systems in the world. Ministry of Science and Technology in a statement said that the AI system will strengthen application development of packages in areas such as advanced materials, computational chemistry and astrophysics. It said several packages are being developed under the National Supercomputing Mission for Drug Design and Preventive Healthcare System, flood forecasting package for flood-prone metro cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Patna and Guwahati. This will accelerate research and development in war against COVID-19 through faster simulations, medical imaging, genome sequencing and forecasting, and will be a boon for Indian masses and for startups and MSMEs in particular.
Registration of delegates for the 51st edition of the International Film Festival of India IFFI has begun from the 17th of this month under the paid categories. This edition of IFFI is scheduled in January 2021. Registration fee for the delegate cine enthusiast and delegate professional will be 1,000 rupees each plus taxes. The registration can be done at www.iffigoa.org. Information and Broadcasting Ministry in a statement said that registration will be on first-come, first-served basis to the limited number of delegates due to COVID-19 pandemic.
World Toilet Day is being observed tomorrow. The day aims to raise awareness about sanitation crises and encourage people to use toilets. Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation in the Ministry of Jal Shakti will also be celebrating the day under Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen. On the occasion, Union Minister of Jal Shakti Gajendra Singh Shekhawat will felicitate top districts and states with Swachhata Puraskar through a virtual event.
Domestic benchmark stocks today hit fresh lifetime highs as the Sensex crossed the 44,000 mark, while the Nifty finished above the 12,900 level. The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange rose 227 points to settle at 44,180. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange also added 64 points to settle at 12,938.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital is likely to experience fog or mist in the morning. Later, the sky will be mainly clear. The minimum temperature will be 10 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 26 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will observe partly cloudy sky and the temperature will vary between 25 and 35 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have thunderstorm with rain. The temperature will hover between 24 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is likely to have partly cloudy sky with temperature fluctuating between 22 and 31 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in Srinagar, sky will be generally cloudy with light rain. The temperature will hover between 2 and 12 degrees Celsius. In Jammu, lower level of temperature will be 11 degrees Celsius, while upper level will be around 23 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Leh, sky will be generally cloudy with light rain. The minimum temperature will be -9 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 9 degrees. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with light rain, with temperature hovering between 0 degree and 10 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will move from 4 to 18 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 9 and 27 degrees Celsius with mainly clear sky. Chandigarh will have mainly clear sky. The temperature is likely to move from 11 to 26 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature will be 19 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 31 degrees. The city will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Ahmedabad will witness a clear sky. The minimum temperature will be 20 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 32 degrees. Patna will have fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later on, with temperature hovering between 16 and 29 degrees Celsius.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Centre taking concrete steps to contain spread of rising COVID-19 cases in the national capital, says Home Ministry. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.52%. President Ramnath Kovind calls for premier universities to be at the forefront to promote innovation. 4-day-long Chhath Puja begins in different parts of the country with traditional fervour. Former Goa governor and veteran BJP leader Mridula Sinha passes away. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.